The silence that followed Ambassador Thorn's return to his newly designated seat near the central dais wasn't peaceful. It was the fragile quiet of a detonator with its trigger removed, the explosive still present but momentarily inert. The air thrummed with unspoken thoughts, raw emotions laid bare by the Adagio and the daunting task ahead. Commander Kalen remained a brooding monolith, his gaze fixed on the fractured table surface, the grinding of his mandibles replaced by a low, thoughtful hum vibrating deep within his thorax. The Thargon warriors stood rigid, their aggression banked but not extinguished. The unfamiliar echo of shared sorrow resonated within them, clashing with millennia of ingrained warrior ethos. They watched their commander, awaiting his lead, their posture radiating wary confusion. Prelate Lyria's luminous form pulsed softly, the blues and violets of contemplation swirling within her containment field. The raw emotional frequency of the Adagio had been a shock to her people's highly refined sensibilities. While the elegy of vanished Tarsus spoke of cosmic loss, the human lament spoke of individual anguish, a concept both alien and disturbingly resonant. Her delegation's collective hum remained absent, replaced by subtle, individual light patterns flickering like internal dialogues. The mediators, recovering their composure, projected complex glyphs onto the dais. The Zephyrian representative, a vortex of iridescent gas, pulsed with renewed purpose. Honored delegates, its synthesized voice resonated, smoother now but still touched with awe. Ambassador Thorn's expression has provided unique context. Prelate Lyria, Commander Kalen, you have agreed to a non-invasive harmonic resonance mapping of the Xylos 7 belt. This shall proceed immediately under conclave oversight. The data will be transparent to all parties. Lyria inclined her head. Agreed. Our songweavers stand ready. The mapping vessel Chorus is in synchronous orbit. We require only clearance and a designated neutral observation point. Kalen finally lifted his massive head, his amber eyes sweeping from Lyria to the mediator, finally settling, briefly, on Thorn. Thargon science vessel Anvil will observe, he stated flatly. No illusion harmonics near Anvil shields. Clearance granted. It was a concession, grudgingly given, acknowledging the necessity of the demonstration while maintaining defensive posturing. Thorn sat stiffly, the worn violin case a heavy weight on his lap. His gamble had bought a reprieve, a fragile opening, but he felt like a man who had tossed a single pebble into a churning ocean. The real work, the brutal calculus of resources and survival, was just beginning. He was acutely aware of his position, suddenly central yet fundamentally powerless. His relevance hinged entirely on the emotional impact of a piece of music, an impact that could fade as quickly as the Adagio's final note. As Lyria communicated silently with her delegation, activating the chorus, and Kalen barked orders to the anvil, Thorn felt a subtle vibration against his wrist, his encrypted personal com. Glancing down discreetly, he saw a priority message flagged from Terra Central. His heart lurched. Maya, his granddaughter. Opening the text only burst, his blood ran cold. Grandpa, Luna Habitat 7. Pressure fluctuation in Agrisector Gamma. Containment. Held. Minor injuries. They say it was a micrometeoroid swarm. Feels targeted. Scared. Be careful out there. Love. Maya. Targeted. A micrometeoroid swarm hitting a key agricultural dome. Coincidence during the most critical negotiations in human history. Thorn's knuckles whitened on the violin case. The vulnerability he felt wasn't just personal, it was planetary. Humanity's position was more precarious than ever. His desperate act here might have delayed war, but it also painted a target on Terra's back for factions who preferred simpler solutions. The Grand Conclave Chamber's main holodisplay flickered to life, splitting into multiple views. One showed the sleek, organic curves of the Elusian chorus, shimmering faintly against the starfield. Another displayed the blocky, armored bulk of the Thargon anvil, bristling with sensor arrays and weapons. A third view zoomed in on the disputed Zelo 7 asteroid belt, a chaotic tumble of dark rock and glittering mineral veins against the nebulous backdrop. "This is Prelet Lyria," her melodic voice announced through the chamber's sound system. "The chorus will initiate a Class 3 harmonic resonance scan. Focus. Asteroid cluster, Theta, sector core. Initiating now." On the display, the chorus emitted no visible beam, but the holofeed flickered as complex sensor data began overlaying the asteroid field. A low, thrumming tone, deep and complex, filled the chamber, the translated output of the elusian scan. Kalen leaned forward, his multiple eyes narrowed in intense concentration. Thorn watched the Thargon commander. This was the crux, proof, or dismissal. The scan data began resolving on the main display. At first it was indecipherable to Thorn, swirling patterns of light and shifting harmonic notations. But the reaction from the delegations was immediate. The illusions emitted a collective sigh, a sound like wind chimes stirred by a gentle breeze, profound sadness and confirmation. Lyria's light dimmed further. "Observe," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "The core lattice, ... See the fractures, latent but deep, and the resonance, ... Listen." The thrumming tone shifted, deepening into a discordant, aching moan that resonated in Thorn's bones, reminiscent of the Adagio's most sorrowful passages. It was the sound of instability, of imminent collapse, woven into the very fabric of the asteroids. On the Thargon side, confusion reigned. Kalon growled, a sound of frustration. "Show me the ore density, the fracture lines for mining. This ... noise proves nothing of value." A Thargon science officer, standing behind Kalon, manipulated a console. Brute force mineral scans overlaid the elusian harmonics. Rich veins of hyperdense ore glowed enticingly, but superimposed over them, the elusian scan showed the fractures Lyria described, deep, branching fault lines that pulsed with the discordant harmonic moan, concentrated precisely where the richest deposits lay. "Commander," the science officer rumbled, his voice tight. "The mineral scans are confirmed, high-yield deposits, but the structural instability indicated by the elusian harmonics, it correlates directly. The primary loads sit atop these harmonic fault zones. Excavation would likely trigger catastrophic chain reaction. Probability, 98.7%. The discordant moan from the scan filled the chamber, underscored by the science officer's cold statistics. Kalon stared at the display. The promise of vast resources, vital for his people's forges and armor, lay before him, but it was intertwined with the pulsing image of destruction, accompanied by that haunting, sorrowful sound, a sound that now echoed the human lament, still lingering in the air. He saw not just rock, but the potential for a loss that resonated with the feeling Thorn's violin had evoked, a loss of life, of potential, on a massive scale. He slammed a fist down, not in rage this time, but in a gesture of profound frustration and dawning, unwelcome understanding. "Scarred rock," he muttered, the word tasting bitter, singing its own death song. He looked at Lyria, then at the fractured table before him. "Your stewardship, it is not about hoarding. It is about ... preventing this whale." He gestured vaguely at the discordant scan tone. Lyria's light pulsed gently. "Precisely, Commander. We do not claim ownership, but guardianship. To stabilize, to nurture the harmonics. Exploitation, as you planned, would unleash that dissonance, destroying the belt and radiating instability through the Xylos lattice for light, a wound on the cosmos itself." The Zephyrian mediator pulsed rapidly, projecting calming green patterns. "The data is conclusive, Commander Kalon. The proposed Thargon mining operation is unfeasible. It would achieve only mutual annihilation." Kalon's shoulders slumped, a movement so subtle in his massive frame it spoke volumes of defeat. The warrior ethos demanded conquest, but not pointless suicide. The Adagio had shown him the face of sorrow. The scan now showed him its terrifying scale. He looked at his warriors. He saw not just fighters, but fathers, brothers, citizens, who would perish for nothing. The grinding sound returned to his mandibles, but it was the sound of gears turning under immense strain, not aggression. Thargon, he began, his voice heavy. ... withdraws its claim to primary excavation rights in cluster theta. A collective intake of breath echoed through the chamber. It was a monumental concession. But, he continued, fixing Lyria with a sharp gaze, our need remains. We require hyperdense, or your stewardship cannot mean embargo. Lyria's form brightened slightly. It does not, Commander. Stabilization is possible. Slow, careful harvesting from the periphery, avoiding the harmonic faults, can be negotiated. It requires patience and cooperation. She paused, then added, her melodic voice softening. The elegy of vanished Tarsus teaches that loss can be a catalyst for creation. Perhaps, ... shared purpose can emerge from shared understanding of loss. The word cooperation hung in the air again, less impossible, now, but still fraught. Kalen gave a curt nod. Negotiate terms. Thargon will listen. He looked at Thorn, the Terran. He speaks of ... scars, of shadows. He gestured towards the violin case. His people know loss. Perhaps they understand the value of what remains. He should speak, on the terms